Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. This season, the Tigers have featured one of the better two-way players in the game. And while he's batting over .330, it's been the glove of Jose Iglesias that has been a showstopper at times. Iglesias and the Tigers are back home tonight, having some fun. Hopefully, the Tigers and the Chicago Cubs in Game 1 in this two-game interleague series. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us here as the Tigers return home for two here against the Cubs. And the last two games in Chicago, Rod, pretty good. The offense started to wake up.
You know, not only did the offense wake up, led by Miguel Cabrera, in the bottom of that latter third of that batting order on that Saturday game, the middle of the order got it done the next day, but the numbers very, very good in the last two. .359 batting average. They did a much better job with runners in scoring position. They also pitched very well in those two games. You can see in the previous 11 games, well, they just weren't getting it done. They didn't win a lot of those 11 games.
All right, now as far as the Cubs are concerned, we're going to get a look at some of the really good young players over in the National League. Two guys we want to talk about, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo. These two guys have been awfully good.
Well, let's start with Chris Bryant. He's a rookie, and coming into this year, baseball had him as the best young player in all of baseball. There was no young player as good as him, and he's proved everybody right. He has come up, and he has driven in 34 since he has been here, and he's been sort of hot lately. 22 hits in his last 25 games. Anthony Rizzo is simply one of the best players in the National League. You start talking about Goldschmidt. You start talking about Bryce Harper. He is mentioned in that same sentence. He is lethal, hitting left-handers and right-handers, and he's pretty good defensively, and he also steals bases.
All right, after a short break, we'll send you back to the Call Sam Studios. Check in with Justin White. Coming up in this one here tonight, really good pitching matchup. John Lester for the Cubs, Zadibal Sanchez for the Tigers. Stay with us. Game 1 next. For the Tigers, he is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And a couple of days ago, it was David Price pitching a very good game for the Tigers, and it was Alfredo Simon on Sunday in Chicago. Hopefully, Anibal Sanchez can turn his year around here tonight with a 5.69 ERA. He checks in with.
Here's the starting lineup for the Cubs, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Fowler, Rizzo, Bryant, your top three. Montero cleaning up the DH, then Denorfia and Castro. And a bottom three of Lake, Ross, and Russell for Joe Maddon's Chicago Cubs, who come in tonight with a record of 30 wins, 25 defeats. The Tigers at 30-28. And Sanchez set to go to work as Dexter Fowler leads it off, the speedy center fielder for the Chicago Cubs. First pitch of the ball game is high and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Fowler batting .244. He's hit 6 homers this year and has hit safely in his last 4 for the Cubs. The 1-0 is a strike on the outer edge. 1-1. The Cubs making their first appearance here at Comerica Park since 2009, when the Tigers swept them in a 3-game series. Fowler looks at a ball high and away. 2-1. Here's Joe Maddon, the new skipper of the Cubs this year.
And 2-time manager of the year when he was managing the Tampa Bay Rays down in Florida.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Bouncing ball right side. Kinsler, a nice easy hop. And 1 gone.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense. It's presented by Beaumont Health System. Right to left, you have J.D. Martinez, Rajay Davis, Yoenis Cespedes. Third to first, Wilson, Iglesias, Kinsler, and Miguel Cabrera. Miggy made his first error of the season just a couple of days ago against the Chicago White Sox.
Here is Anthony Rizzo, sporting a 12-game hitting streak. And Rizzo right now at a very solid .332.
And be careful on the first pitch thrown to Anthony Rizzo.
Ball 1 from Sanchez.
Having a really good year in the senior circuit. Not many first basemen better than Anthony Rizzo in the National League.
Tigers haven't played to pull. They employ the shift to the right side of the infield. That's in there, a strike. 1-1.
If you're Anibal Sanchez, you have to go inside against Rizzo, and I mean off the plate inside, then go soft, change up fading away if you're going to have any success whatsoever.
Rizzo's 12-game hitting streak is a career high.
And here's that change piece, the butterfly changeup darting down and away from Anthony Rizzo. Real good pitch, located beautifully by Sanchez.
Swing and a miss, down he goes. Rizzo is out of there. First strikeout of the night for Sanchez.
Same pitch, took a little off of this one. The previous changeup a little bit harder. This one he took a little bit more off, and he had Anthony Rizzo folded out in front.
So with 2 outs, here is Chris Bryant. He's batting .282 with 7 home runs. And he pops this one up. First base side. Let's see if there's room for Cabrera. He's going to get back out of play. And Miggy already chattering with the Cubs dugout. 0-1 on Bryant. His 34 RBIs, leading all rookies. Sanchez getting a ground ball from Fowler, a strikeout of Rizzo. And the 0-1. Missed it inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a good pitch. A guy like Bryant that stands 6 feet 5 inches. And you got to tie him up. Once he extends his arms, he's very, very dangerous.
It sails outside. 2 balls, 1 strike on Bryant. Chris Bryant just a couple of years ago in the 2013 draft went 2nd overall to Mark Appel that year, who was number 1 overall. 2-1 bouncing in, 3 balls and 1 strike on Bryant.
You think the Houston Astros would like to do that one over?
Well, you know, it's funny because I was reading an article on how a lot of folks didn't agree with the selection of Chris Bryant at number 2 overall, but the Cubs stood by their guns, and now they're real happy. There's a bouncer deep in the hole and through, a base hit. 2-out single for Bryant. But to answer your question, I would say yes, no doubt. Bryant has really performed extremely well in his first opportunity.
You have to watch the Chicago Cubs. They're not really that fast as a team, but Joe Madden, their manager, grew up in the Angels organization. He was a bench coach for Mike Socha. They ran a lot. And when he got his own gig down in Tampa, his teams were very aggressive as well. And he has brought that to Chicago. And Bryant, even though very tall on first base, he has already stolen 5 bases this year. He's a good base runner.
Here's the cleanup man, Miguel Montero, the DH, and he looks at strike one.
And you see where the Cubs are on the stolen base list, and this is all of Major League Baseball. They are 5th. Tigers 4th on that list.
Toss back, and back in there is Bryant. 5 out of 6 for Bryant in the stolen base column. Montero has been struggling of late, just 1 for his last 15 for the Cubs. Another throw, and back in there is Bryant again. Cabrera continues to hold the tag on him until he stands up. First of 2 between these two ball clubs. Not very often the Cubs come to town here. Nice gathering at the ballpark for game 1 in the series. Up and in on Montero.
They called a balk. He did not stop.
So that'll give Bryant second base.
He tried the quick pitch in Montero and never came to a pause before delivering the ball home.
Good call. Here's the 0-1. Now Montero didn't like that call from David Rackley. No balls, 2 strikes.
And Montero simply asking the home plate umpire, David Rackley, is that as far as you're going to go? And that's the one thing hitters want to know. They want to know exactly what the strike zone is going to be like.
Yeah, when just off the plate. Sanchez again stayed away with the fastball that time. 1-2. Kristen Orfield waiting on deck. Bryant at second base. 2 outs just underway here at the ballpark. And Montero swings and strikes out. A couple of strikeouts for Sanchez. Nothing doing in the first for the Cubs. Northeast Michigan Ford dealers. You got Davis, Kinsler, and Cabrera in your top 3 spots. Yoenis Cespedes has been hot lately. He's in left field. JD in right field. Castellanos DHing tonight. McCann, Wilson, Iglesias rounding it out for the Detroit Tigers. MGM Grand Detroit brings you the scouting report on Jon Lester.
His career right here at Comerica Park in 4 starts. He has pitched 24 innings, 31 hits, given up 15 earned runs. Hasn't pitched all that well against Tigers bats here. He's given up quite a few stolen bases. Does not have a move over to first base, so the Tigers can exploit that weakness. He's got a fastball, mostly cutters, changeup, and curveball, and a changeup thrown mostly to right-handers by Jon Lester.
ERA pretty good this year, 3.86. He really didn't pitch well early in the season. And he will go to work now facing Rajai Davis to start things off for the Tigers. And Rajai looks at ball 1. Tigers certainly familiar with Lester in his days with the Boston Red Sox and the Oakland Athletics for that matter. Rajai at 258. He's knocked in 10 this year. Bouncing ball to third. Diving try. Bryant can't get it. Davis on his way to second, and he'll pull in with a leadoff double. Bryant was in tight at third, had no shot at that ball.
One step and a dive by Bryant, who stands 6 feet 5 inches over at third base, but not able to slow it down. And the Tigers already in business with Rajai Davis, and standing on second with a stand-up double.
Ian Kinsler will stand in. Kinsler perked up toward the end of that series against the Chicago White Sox, 5 for 14 in that series.
If you're Kinsler here, instead of just moving Rajai Davis over to third base, you may as well try to drive him in.
Flare down the right field line. It's going to go foul.
I doubt very seriously with the base open and the treatment that Joe Madden has given Miguel Cabrera in the past. And they might not just pitch to Miggy here in the very first inning.
Joe Madden, plenty of experience facing Cabrera in his days with the Tampa Bay Rays. No balls, 1 strike on Kinsler. Way outside to the backstop it goes. Advance the runner. So Lester helping the Tigers out there.
Ross is the personal catcher of Jon Lester. As a matter of fact, he was with Boston last year, and they signed him to catch Lester most of his outings here, but it looked like he was totally crossed up on that 2-seam fastball.
It's going to be a pass ball charged to David Ross. Tigers now with the game's first run just 90 feet away. Kinsler shoots it foul, back out of play, 1-2. Tigers took 2 out of 3 against the White Sox. They come in 5-4 in interleague play this year. They typically have been really good since 2006 against the National League, but been a little bit slower this year. Just 1 over 500. Kinsler shoots it back up the middle, and that is caught by the second baseman, Addison Russell, holding the runner at third base. 1 gone. We'll bring up Miguel Cabrera, and it also brings us to the Bernstein advantage, which brings you the pitcher-batter matchup. How do you like this matchup, Brad?
He has absolutely owned Jon Lester. Lester has been an outstanding pitcher at this level, but it just kind of gives you an idea of the skill set of Cabrera. He beats up on some of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball.
RBI chance for Miguel with a man at third, 1 out. He was just 1 for 11 in that series against Chicago. And Lester works it low, 1-0.
Ross, the catcher, basically on that first pitch to Miguel was setting up at least 6 inches off the plate with his glove. So it looks like they're disguising the idea of whether they're going to pitch to Miggy here or not. The infield is conceding the run on the ground should Miggy be fortunate enough to hit something on the ground.
That's way outside, 2-0. This appears to be one of those
walks that Lester has planned.
Well, we've watched Joe Madden when he was managing games for Tampa give Miguel special treatment unlike any other manager we've seen the last few years.
Ground ball back up the middle. That's a base hit to score a run. So much for the walk. RBI single for Cabrera, 1-0 Detroit.
We'll take one more look at that fastball that was supposed to be off the plate. And Joe Madden is very upset with himself because he has a veteran pitcher on the mound in John Lester. But Lester didn't execute. Miguel Cabrera got that cut fastball that was on the outside part of the plate and drove in a run here.
Which I guess begs the question, if you didn't want any part of Cabrera, why not just walk him intentionally?
Well, he didn't want him to lob it up there. I think Lester has an issue lobbing the baseball because he doesn't throw the ball to first base because he doesn't throw it firm over there. And I think he trusted him in that particular situation that he would not let Miguel drive a run in. And really, I don't fault Joe for that. I mean, Lester's a veteran pitcher, and he knows Miggy's hitting .522 against him.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it is a veteran out there, and you do expect him to execute. But Cabrera took advantage of it, and Miggy has his 39th RBI. Cespedes been swinging a hot bat. He's up to 300 again. And Yoenis looks at a strike.
Cespedes lately has been driving the ball the opposite way. A lot of his hits lately have come via right field. As a matter of fact, he even homered to right field in that Chicago series. Not that he's trying to go that way, but if you pitch him out there, he'll take that knock.
1-2. Cespedes now with 8 home runs. He is driven in 30 this year.
And changeup here thrown by Lester down and away from Yoenis Cespedes. Looks like Lester holds his changeup like a split-fingered fastball.
Bouncing ball back up the middle. Russell has it, flips to second, one. Awkward relay, not in time.
That's what happens when you overshift certain players. Balls that should be a routine double play. And the shortstop really can't get there because he was playing out of position, and by the time Castro got there, he really couldn't get anything on the awkward throw. Therefore, Cespedes able to beat it out.
And Cespedes gets down the line pretty good too, so he's aboard. Fielder's choice, 2 outs, and that'll bring up J.D. Martinez. Four hits in the White Sox series. J.D. this year with 10 home runs. That'll float in high. 1 ball, no strikes on the Tigers right fielder. Hey, there's Victor Martinez. Good to see him back in the clubhouse and in the dugout as well.
Looked good taking a batting practice as well here today.
2-0.
John Lester caught a little bit of a break with Victor not being healthy and on the active roster because his numbers, well, they're not Miggy-like, but they're up there.
What a welcomed addition he will be when he gets back into the Tigers lineup. And so far, the rehab has been going pretty good. Here's the 2-0, swing and a miss out in front. 2 balls, 1 strike on Martinez. The news, however, for Alex Avila was not quite as good. He is rehabbing his injured knee and was taking batting practice in Chicago over the weekend and tweaked a little bit, as they say. It's a little bit of a setback for Avila. Meanwhile, 3-1 on J.D. Martinez. Lester with the 3-1. Ground ball to third, deep behind the bag. Bryant's throw across the diamond is in time. And the Tigers will get 1 run, and they'll do it on a couple of hits. Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. By Ram, come discover great deals during the Ram Drive and Discover event. And by Country Fresh Cottage Cheese, get real. Back here at Comerica Park as the Tigers open up this 2-game series with the National League's Chicago Cubs. Tigers lead 1-0. RBI hit by Miguel Cabrera. Chris Denorfia leads it off. It looks at ball 1 from Anibal Sanchez. It'll be Denorfia and then Castro and Lake. Drill to center field. Rajay on the move. And one gone. That'll bring up Starlin Castro. Castro at 265. He's hit 4 home runs and knocked in 27 this year. And Sanchez hits the outside corner. No balls, 1 strike on Castro. Make it 1-1. Castro picked up his 900th major league hit back in early June, just a few days ago, and he became the fastest Chicago Cub player to reach that plateau. Sends a ground ball to the right side. He's got himself another knock.
That's saying something as long as these Chicago Cubs have been playing.
Yeah, think about that. For 100 years.
He's been in the big leagues for a long time. He's still very, very young. But he came to the big leagues after a couple of weeks in the 2010 season. Good bad ball hitter as well. Fastball, a couple of inches off the plate. And he takes it the other way.
Here you go for shortstop since the start of the 2010 season. Castro's had more hits than any other shortstop. Here is Junior Lake. And he looks at a strike, 0-1. 235 batting average. Can play all 3 outfield positions. They have him in right field tonight. Down to block it is McCann. 1-1 count. Cubs right now are on a 9-game trip. They just took 3 out of 4 from the Nationals in Washington over the weekend. McCann again goes down to get it. 2 balls, 1 strike on Junior Lake. David Ross waiting on deck. Sanchez only 1 win in his last 6 starts. He's had a couple of no decisions sprinkled in, but has lost his last 2. High fly ball right field, fairly deep but playable. J.D. Martinez under it for the 2nd out of the inning. Castro back to first. Well, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll select our Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's Big Mac and 10-piece McNuggets. Here's David Ross. Batting only 167. Ross spending the last 2 years in the American League with the Red Sox. The veteran catcher has been around a long time.
And which means he has a pretty good idea of how to help his pitchers along with Tigers batters this evening.
What's up with his helmet?
Looks like he's got a little rosin on his helmet. You mean that white stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little rosin, I think.
A little two-tone action going there. Yeah, it's all over the place.
Maybe it's not rosin.
Maybe not. Fouled straight back, 0-1.
A good fastball thrown at 93 miles an hour by Sanchez, and he's thrown quite a few fastballs already into the Chicago Cubs through the first 2 innings. Imperative that he have better control with his heater this evening.
There's a fastball up, and the count evens now, 1 ball and 1 strike. 13 major league seasons for David Ross. A little gray showing up in the beard these days. Here's the 1-1. High, towering fly ball, left field. Cespedes lost it initially. Rajay on the run as well. Davis leaping. Rajay with the catch. Oh, what a play by Rajay Davis. He took a 2-run homer away from David Ross. How you liking this? Davis with a leaping play.
David Ross nearly hit it out of here. There's a lot of wind up in left field. And when the ball left his bat, I didn't think it had a chance to get as far as it did. Rajay Davis, he got over there. He gave himself enough room to elevate and makes a spectacular catch, taking a 2-run home run away from David Ross.
Great play out there in left center, and that keeps it a 1-0 lead for the Tigers.
Yeah, Rajay has tremendous speed, but he also has the tremendous ability to elevate when in the outfield and taking away would-be home runs.
Rajay spent the off day yesterday, by the way, back at his home in Connecticut, visiting his newborn baby. And he turns in a highlight reel catch here tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nick Castellanos. Nick batting .229, 4 home runs. A couple of hits in that series against the White Sox. Swing and a miss. 1-2 on Castellanos. McCann and then Wilson to follow in the second. Swing and a tip into the glove. That is strike 3. And the first strikeout for John Lester. One out for James McCann. His first major league season, first full major league season, remains really solid. He has done tremendous work defensively and with the stick as well, batting .276.
And James McCann looks like he's going to have a very bright future as a catcher in the big leagues.
Well, the injury to Alex Avila has opened the door for McCann to show what he can do, and he's thrown out 50% this year.
Handles the pitching staff very, very well. And the pitchers are starting to trust him with each start that McCann gets. He's held his own offensively. You've just talked about the way that he can throw the baseball. Has an outstanding throwing arm.
McCann fouls it off 0-2.
And Tim Hortons will sponsor the starting defensive alignment for the Chicago Cubs. They've made quite a few errors this year, and they check in with a .978 fielding percentage. 46 errors to be exact. That's fourth most in the majors.
That'll qualify as quite a few. 1-2 on McCann. James was 3 for 12 in the White Sox series. Oh, we thought he had strike three. Ross about to throw that ball around the horn. Good. It's one of those under your breath where you apologize to the home plate umpire. 2-2, swing and a miss. Now he can throw it. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lester. And that'll bring up Josh Wilson. Numbers with Toledo this year, you're looking at them, .291. But with the Tigers, what did he make his presence felt over the weekend in Chicago? He was 5 for 9. That's in there, a strike call, 0-1. Wilson playing with his 9th different major league team. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Swing and a miss, and Lester strikes out the side as he cruises through the second. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. Cubs doing battle here in the first of a two-game series. Addison Russell will start things off for Chicago. It'll be Russell, then Fowler, and then Rizzo. 9-1-2 facing Anibal Sanchez. And Addison Russell looks at a strike, 0-1. Another one of the fine-looking young prospects that the Cubs have. They got him from the Oakland Athletics, the Jeff Samardzija deal last year. That's a little bit outside. 1-1.
He's a shortstop by trade, but playing second base these days for the Chicago Cubs and basically learning on the job.
Russell takes outside. 2-1 the count. He's been struggling a little bit lately with the bat, just 2 for his last 18. He was hitting over 300 at AAA when he was called up, and that was in late April, the 21st. 2-2 the count.
And because he has been struggling, Joe Madden, their manager, gave him a couple of days off in that weekend series in Washington, just to allow him to catch his breath, get away from it for a couple of days.
That's inside. Well, these Cubs came in trailing St. Louis in the National League Central by 6.5, and they certainly have a lot of talent, Rod, but a lot of that major talent is still very young.
They're on pace to win about 88, 89 games under Joe Madden in his first year in Chicago.
Almost hit well, but Rajay will run it down again. One gone. Hey, by the way, tonight's broadcast is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces. Serving around the world on land and on ships at sea, we welcome you.
And you're absolutely right with the youth that they have on their roster. It's going to be a really good team for years to come.
But as the season progresses, you wonder if the youth will catch up or if talent will just take over. They've got a lot of that. Fowler looks at strike one. Dexter, to me, Rod's always been a very interesting player dating back to his days with the Rockies. He was with the Astros.
Tremendous center fielder. I mean, he glides in center field with the best of them. Kind of reminds me of a young Devon White, the way that he strides out in the outfield, runs down everything. The bat really hasn't come yet this year for Dexter, and batting only .243, but he's been hot lately. He had a really nice series in Washington.
Swing and a miss.
Good change piece there thrown by Anibal Sanchez, who was using all of his pitches through the first couple of innings here today. We've seen the outstanding changeup. Here's another one. He's also thrown some really good breaking balls, and of course he's at his best when he's using all 4 quadrants of the strike zone with that fastball that will go anywhere from 93 to 95 miles an hour.
So far so good for Mr. Sanchez, despite the fact that he came in with a 6.56 ERA at Comerica Park this year. There's a bouncer to first, deep behind the bag. And Cabrera flips to Sanchez. 1-2-3 inning. RBI single by Miguel Cabrera. And so far it has held up as Jose Iglesias gets set to start things here in the bottom of the third. Iglesias, Davis, Kinsler. What a year it's been for Jose. .331 batting average. And he popped it up. Let's see if he gets back in the seats. Ross runs out of room, back out of play.
Easy, David Ross. And Ross is 38 years old, but he's playing like he's 28.
He bolted for the railing, didn't he?
He picked it up quickly, got rid of that mask, and nearly ran through the Tigers' dugout.
Right into your living room as well.
Give me some of that coffee.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And Lester can drop that that curveball in the back door with the best of them. Also cuts that fastball off the plate, which ends up on the corner. He'll cut it inside as well.
Two and one. Lester signed a 6-year free agent deal in December. Got a vesting option for 2021 as well in that deal. Little chopper hit to the second baseman, Russell.
And some of you may remember on Friday night, and Joaquin Soria gave up a home run to Adam LaRoche, and Rajay Davis jumped right into the wall so he couldn't elevate. So tonight, what does he do? He gives himself plenty of room to elevate, and he goes up and he takes a home run away from David Ross. That is our high-strength steal turned in by Rajay Davis.
Rajay also has a double and has scored the game's only run.
I couldn't quite tell how far he would have missed that ball in Chicago by, but the fact of the matter is, as an outfielder, you always want to give yourself the opportunity to jump, as Rajay did here tonight, taking that home run away from David Ross.
Yeah, for all we know, the one in Chicago would have been a home run anyway, but he still would have had a chance had he measured it a little bit better. Rolled foul. Sounded hollow off the bat. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And that fan brought his glove and it paid off.
Well, kind of.
A little plank action, but he picked it up, didn't panic.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Davis. Six in a row now retired by the left-hander Lester after that single which drove in a run by Cabrera. Just off the plate. Lester, 31 years old. He was born in Tacoma, Washington. Stands 6'4", 240-pounder. It'll bounce in 3-2. He had a lot of big years with the Boston Red Sox. Spent 8+ seasons in Boston. Made 3 All-Star teams. Won a couple of World Series. Red Sox winning in 07 and then 2013.
And that's one of the reasons why he decided to sign with the Chicago Cubs. The same people that were running the organization in Boston now running the Cubbies. Theo Epstein.
Swing and a miss. Rajay is out of there.
He's got it going now. And John Lester has struck out 4 of the last 5 batters. And he's done it with a variety of different pitches. That's a cut fastball, and you can see how he released that ball, and you can see the cutting action, which allowed him to get the strikeout.
Well, here is where Lester ranks since 2008 among lefties. He is high in all of those categories. 109 wins is second. There's a strike call. Ian Kinsler lined softly back up the middle his first time up, 0 for 1. Kinsler now has multi-hit games in 3 of his last 4, which means he has 21 of those this year. Two and 1. 4 strikeouts for Lester so far. He has struck out 4 of the last 5 batters. Little chopper left side of the infield. Cut off at third by Bryant. It's going to be another 1-2-3 inning for John Lester. He's retired 8 straight. Things on for Chicago. It'll be Bryant, Montero, and then Denorfia. 3, 4, and 5 for Joe Madden.
If you're Anibal Sanchez, you cannot make any mistakes over the heart of the plate to Chris Bryant. He has got tremendous power, and especially the way the wind is blowing out to left.
Pulled on the ground right to the shortstop. Easy hop for Iglesias. 1 pitch, 1 out. 6 in a row retired by Anibal. Hey, join us again tomorrow. The Tigers wrap up their 2-game set with these Cubbies. Our coverage begins at 6 with Tigers Live. Tigers Cubs tomorrow night right here on Fox Sports Detroit. After the Cubs leave town, the Indians coming in, then the Reds for a couple of games next week. Ball 1 to Miguel Montero. Shift is on against Montero, who struck out in the first inning. That is Kinsler out there in short right field. Iglesias swung around the other side of second base. 2-1 now on Montero. Former Arizona Diamondback, in fact, parts of 9 years with the D-backs.
Had some good years in Arizona as well.
Yeah, he did. As a matter of fact, made a couple of all-star teams there.
Right.
Little chopper hit to the right side. Iglesias comes over to make the play, and that'll be a 6-3 ground out. Well, you can catch 4 games at Comerica Park for as low as $73 with the new Detroit Tigers 4-packs. Choose 4 bobblehead giveaways, 4 fireworks nights, or 4 weekday matinee games. Call 313-471-2255 or check it out online at tigers.com. Here's Chris Denorfia.
And Denorfia has had a couple of stints on the disabled list this year. And with a left hamstring issue, spent the last 5 years in San Diego. And Brad Ausmus knows all about Denorfia. Brad, of course, worked in the front office in San Diego before taking this Tigers managerial gig.
1 ball, 1 strikeout. Denorfia came off the disabled list on Sunday. As Rod mentioned, he spent 2 stints on the DL.
He's been hitting well since coming off the disabled list. Joe Maddon stuck him right back in there.
Here's the 1-1. A little bit outside, 2-1.
He is one of the veterans on the team. He's 34 years old.
That's in there, a strike. 2-2 on Denorfia. Both of these starters have settled in now.
A nice breaking ball here thrown by Sanchez. Backup breaking ball. And Denorfia was looking for that ball down and away, and it basically stayed up and in.
To the shortstop. Iglesias 2 steps to his right. Denorfia is out. 1-2-3 inning for Anibal Sanchez. Miguel Cabrera has the game's only RBI so far, and he'll lead things off in the bottom of the 4th.
Third and just 1 out, and David Ross, the catcher, wanted that ball off the plate, but the ball ended up leaking back over the heart of the plate, and Miguel Cabrera drove in the first run of this game.
And it's Miguel's 39th RBI of the year. He'll get things started here in the 4th against John Lester, who's retired 8 straight. Lester, in fact, struck out the side back in the 2nd.
And Miguel came into the contest tonight batting a cool .522 against Lester, so it was kind of shocking that Lester did give up a base hit to Miguel in that very first inning.
He stays away. 1 ball, no strikes on Miguel.
And Joe Maddon, as he has done a lot of, overshifting the right-handed Miguel Cabrera.
He is now 13 for 24 against Lester. 2-0.
Addison Russell basically playing directly behind the second base bag. Anthony Rizzo, boy, he's basically playing second base against Miguel.
Cabrera had just 1 hit in that series against the White Sox, but he did extend his on-base streak, and now with his single tonight, he's been on base in 27 consecutive games. There's the 2-1. Cabrera will be followed by Cespedes and then Martinez. Again, back up the middle, and he beats the shift into center field.
Yeah, shift or not, he's just a bad boy. That's all it is to it.
Lester just can't get him out. That'll stop the streak of 8 straight retired.
.3-1 fastball thrown by Lester, and Miguel able to reach out and hit it right back up the middle. Not trying to do too much with it. There are a lot of power hitters in the game that get themselves in a 3-1 count. And they're trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but not McGill, basically taking what John Lester's giving him.
It's up to 560 now. Here's Cespedes. Fielder's choice for Yoenis in the first. He looks at a strike, 0-1. Seven for 13 in the series against the White Sox.
And another shift on Yoenis Cespedes, whose spray chart will tell you that he is a dead pull hitter.
It's funny how these evolutions of the shifts have taken place here in the big leagues. It used to be you get 1 or 2 or maybe 3 teams that would do it, and then all of a sudden it became 5 or 10, and now it's literally every team.
And it used to be pretty much against left-handed power hitters that were pull happy.
Yeah, you never really saw it against righties too much, did you?
Not at all. Cespedes 35 to left field, 18 up the middle, just 13 the opposite way. That's the reason why Joe Madden playing his infield the way that it is right now. 7 of the 8 home runs also hit this year by Yoenis Cespedes have been to left field.
He'll shoot that one to right, but it's going to slice.
If the Tigers get the right combination standing on first base while Lester is in the game, they will try to steal a base here. He does not throw over to first. In all of 2014, Lester did not try 1 pickoff. He's only attempted 2 throws to first base this year. So even Miggy could run if he wanted to.
'66 consecutive starts without a pickoff attempt. And then when he did try it earlier this year in April, he threw one into right field.
Yeah, that didn't go very well.
And because of that, 15 stolen bases allowed this season, second most to Tyson Ross. And again, he rolled it foul. I remember that Lester was on the hill in the wild card game. Hayes had a 7-3 lead over the Royals. Lester was on the mound in the 8th inning. We figured it was game over. But the Royals would come back and tie that game, eventually win it in extra innings.
Kansas City didn't lose another game until they got all the way to the World Series.
Lester began the year with the Red Sox, then traded for the man he's facing right now, Cespedes. Drill to left field. That's going to get down. Base hit. Cabrera goes to second and stops there. Back-to-back singles here in the 4th.
This is the signature pitch that Lester has thrown the last number of years. It's a cut fastball that gets in on Yoenis Cespedes, but you saw Yoenis really pull his hands in really close to his body, and that allowed him to get just enough barrel and to fight this ball off and down the left field line for a solid single.
Tigers have 4 hits now, 2 on, nobody out. Martinez hit a ground ball his first time up. He'll take ball 1. Four-game hitting streak for Martinez. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. 302 in his last 28 for JD. Been a bit of a roller coaster season. Had an 11-game hitting streak in the month of May. But he remains a really solid home run threat. 10 of those this year. And Lester missed low and in, 2-1. Castellanos will be next. Tigers trying to extend their 1-0 lead. We're in the 4th. Two and 2.
And JD was convinced that he was going to get another one of those cut fastballs inside, and Lester, he pulled the string on him at about 75 miles an hour. And a good curveball thrown by John Lester.
He'll miss to run it full now, 3-2.
Probably way too risky for Brad Ausmus to start the runners here. And 3-2, nobody out, with not a whole lot of speed on second, but we'll see what Brad is thinking.
Runners hold, and it's pulled foul. Well, the Tigers conclude their weekend series with the Cleveland Indians this Sunday, June 14th at 1:08. It's Sunday Kids Day, and all kids 14 and under receive a J.D. Martinez poster. Tickets called 866-66-TIGER. Three and two. Count stays on J.D. Driven high in the air to right field. Lake going back to the track halfway to the wall, and he'll make the catch. Runners both tag and both move up. Second and third, one out.
Outstanding base running here by Yoenis Cespedes. He knows Miguel Cabrera is going to tag up, and he's watching Lake in right field, and he's watching him on the back of his heels. So Yoenis gets back to the bag, and even though Lake has a strong arm, he challenges that arm and he gets himself in a scoring position. Good heads-up base running by Yoenis Cespedes, taking the double play out of order.
And you get a base hit now and perhaps 2 runs. Castellanos fanned back in the second.
All Castellanos needs is some contact on the ground up the middle here to drive in the second run of the game.
Or to left field. 1 run scores. Here comes Cespedes. He'll try and score him, and he will. Castellanos to second, and he is tagged out.
Yeah, over-aggressive base running there by Castellanos on the base hit. Really no need into running yourself into an out there.
The throw from Denorfia just kind of floated into the infield.
Castellanos has been known to jump on the first pitch, especially with runners in scoring position. That's a cut fastball that's off the plate. He pulls his hands in nicely. Cespedes, he got a great break off second base. He scored standing up, and anytime you have a guy scoring standing up, if you're that base runner on first, there's really no need into running yourself into an out.
So they're empty now, 3-0 in favor of the Tigers, and McCann cuts and misses.
Lester 5 days ago had a rocky start. He gave up 6 runs in his game that particular evening, and the Tigers have made him work. He's already thrown 65 pitches here.
0-2. Lester, after he was acquired by the A's last year, made 11 starts for Oakland. He was 6-4, had a really good ERA, 2.35 for the Athletics. Matt Martin talking with Castellanos.
Probably about that play we just talked about, whether it was a good decision to go to second base or not.
Here's a 1-2. Ooh, just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. McCann struck out in the second. Lester now is allowed 3 runs, 5 hits. Ooh, just fouled down the first base line. He almost snuck one in there for extra bases. Lester had come into this inning retiring 8 straight, then Cabrera got it started with a single.
As decorated as Lester's career has been, he has not pitched all that well against the Tigers lately. The Tigers kind of have his number.
Detroit has certainly been the one team that has gotten to Lester, who has piled up a lot of wins. It certainly did with the Boston Red Sox. That's down the right field line. That's going to be a fair ball. Lake digs it out of the corner. McCann hustling to second. Here comes a throw. He is safe at second base.
That is the 9th double of the season for the rookie catcher, James McCann.
He hustled his way into a 2-base hit.
Got an off-speed pitch that was off the plate. He hit it right off the end of the bat, reaching for it, lunging for it, and then he got on his horse, sliding in safely with a double. It appears it's a double.
Joe Maddon's looking at it right now to see if they want to challenge. I don't think they will. Ooh, close, but it looked like he was in there. So a 2-out double. See if Wilson can get him in. Josh struck out in the second, 0 for 1. And bends it for a strike, 0-1. That is 6 Tigers hits now against Lester. Two of them doubles. Rajay has the other one. Backs him out of there, 1-1.
"11 career starts for John Lester. The record is 3-5, and you can see the numbers at bottom note here at Comerica Park. A 5.63 ERA.
Lester now has thrown 29 pitches in this inning alone, and here it is by inning, so he's up to 73 now.
Joe Maddon had to dip into his team's bullpen quite a bit yesterday to get that win in Washington.
He's going to have to dip into it again tonight,
right?
Based on these numbers. It's back to the screen. 1-2. The count stays on Wilson.
Sunday, I meant to say, not yesterday. They were resting comfortably here in the Motor City yesterday.
Tigers kind of worried. They had a couple of nice wins in Chicago, and all of a sudden they got the off day yesterday. They were kind of hoping they could play. Boy, those off days in August and September really come in handy.
They sure do.
Lester with the 1-2 to Wilson. And so that'll end the inning. However, the Tigers get 2 more. Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Myers. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Tigers have extended the lead as they go up 3-0. We are headed now to the 5th inning at the ballpark. Aníbal Sanchez has had a couple of 1-2-3 frames. Starlin Castro leads it off. Strike one on Castro. Singled in the second, but did not score. And David Ross hit a ball that looked like it was going to go out, but was robbed. And a great play by Rajai Davis after the Castro single. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sanchez allowed a single and a balk in the first, and then a single in the second, but nothing after that. Castro takes low, 2-1. He'll get back out of play.
Anibal Sanchez doing a much better job of getting to a really nice balanced position in the windup, getting that arm out in front and throwing straight downhill. Not nearly as rotational with his upper half as he has been when the ball has been flattening out and that he's been throwing in the strike zone. Doing a nice job so far this evening.
In the air to center, Davis to the gap. 1 gone. Time out for the Lowe's Never Stop Improving stat. And our stat consists of draft picks tonight. These are the first 3 Tiger draft picks. Bo Burrows, Rod, they say this kid can really bring it. Only 18 years old, a high schooler.
Well, you know the Tigers, their first pick, the guy's going to be about 6'4", 6'5", and he's going to throw 95 to 98 miles an hour, and that's what they say Bo Burrows does.
Kristen Stewart, an outfielder for Tennessee, was the second pick. You saw that Cam Gibson was selected in the 5th round by the Detroit Tigers, Gibby's son Cam. So we welcome him to the Tigers family.
And congratulations to the Gibson family.
Junior Lake, the batter. Ball outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lake flied out to right field back in the second. Yanked foul down the third base line. Here are the top 10 draft picks for the Tigers. Burrows, Stewart, Alexander, Smith leading the way. You see Gibson at 160. I'm not going to pronounce number 130's name. Go for it, Ron.
Nope, I'm not going to do it either. But 8 of the 10 college kids. Not unusual for the Tigers. Usually their drafts consist of a lot of college kids.
There's a base hit for Lake. 1 on, 1 out. Tomorrow the draft will wrap up, and we hope to have David Chad on with us at some point this week to talk about how he feels the draft went. You know, I caught up with Jim Leland here in the press box, and the skipper said that he was in the war room yesterday all day, and he said, man, is it intense in there. He was in there from early morning to late at night, and boy, do those guys do a lot of work.
Not only is it a lot of work once they get ready for the draft as they did last night, but it's a lot of leg work that leads up to the draft with all the area scouts, all the pro scouts, all the cross checkers.
That is popped up foul. Back in the seats.
They said it wasn't a really top heavy draft this year as far as the talent was concerned, but it was a lot of talent spread out through the first couple of rounds.
Ross hit that ball that looked like it was going to go to left field. Leaping catch by Rajai Davis. That happened back in the second. Otherwise, it would have been a couple of runs.
Yeah, Anibal looking for a ground ball here. Good four-seam fastball down. Good breaking ball away from Ross. Could get the ground ball to the shortstop Iglesias to start the double play. He and Kinsler have been outstanding all year long.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Ross. Kinsler and Iglesias just seem real comfortable with each other. I mean, even some of the highlight plays that Iglesias has made, sometimes he stand around in wonderment, but Kinsler has been a great double play partner. Runner going, and it's fouled away.
Here's that Rajai Davis catch, taking a home run away from David Ross. Ross's first time up was a hanging breaking ball thrown by Anibal Sanchez, and that wall has to be about 8 feet high. And look at the elevation shown by Rajai Davis to get well up over that wall in left and make that grab.
It would have given the Cubs a 2-1 lead at that point. Runner goes again on 0-2, swing and a miss. McCann's throw is not in time. Good strong throw by James, but they called him safe.
Lake had a huge jump. I mean, an absolute huge jump, and I was very surprised that McCann even threw the ball down to second base, and then you look up, he made it close. Oh my goodness, did he get it?
Well, Brad's trying to decide that right now, along with Matt Martin, as they look at the video.
Yeah, they got him, they think.
What a throw by McCann.
Did you see the jump that Lake got?
I know. That's what made it interesting or amazing. So they will look at this one. Tigers will challenge here. There's a great look at it right here.
Tag looks like it appears to be applied by Kinsler to the elbow of Lakes before the left hand gets there. This will give us a real nice shot. Man, maybe not that one.
When you have plays that are this close, it is oftentimes very difficult for the crew in New York who is looking at this play to say, we're going to overturn the call, because the call on the field is safe, and many times they will just uphold the call. We'll see what the decision is here. Hunter Wendelstedt is the crew chief, in contact with the command center in New York, which is manned by a rotation of major league umpires. How about this? This should be as close as we can get. Yeah, I think he's out. That shot right there is, I think, a difference maker. And that is now being shown here at the ballpark on the big screen. Can't get much closer than this. Eesh. Oh, is that close?
It is.
But the point you make is a valid one. That, with the jump that Lake got, didn't seem like it was even possible. And McCann has certainly given us something to look at. It is taking a while, that's for sure, for them to sort this out. Here's your decision. Safe. Well, it was just too close for them to change what the call was on the field. And you see that happen a lot. So Lake gets a stolen base, is fourth.
This is the 46th steal of the year for the Chicago Cubs.
That does not diminish the throw that McCann made. 2 minutes 8 seconds on that review. So now here is Addison Russell with 2 outs. Ground ball left side, base hit. Lake coming around third. They're going to send him home. He's going to run on Cespedes. Throw to the plate. He is out at home plate.
That boy's got an absolute gun in the outfield.
Oh, Cespedes pulled out the howitzer. A one-hopper.
So there's a rule of thumb. If the guy gets the ball at the same time you're getting to the bag, you don't want to run, especially on the arm of Yoenis Cespedes. That is now 41 outfield assists for Cespedes since the beginning of the 2012 season. And you can see Gary Jones, their third base coach, wheeling Lake home.
Do they have a scouting report on Yoenis Cespedes?
They should. As we mentioned, 41 assists for Yoenis Cespedes since the beginning of 2012. Only Gordon has thrown out more of the Kansas City Royals.
Iglesias starting things off for the Tigers here in the bottom of the fifth.
Cespedes has a right fielder's arm playing left field. He has one of the strongest arms of any outfielder in the big leagues.
There you have it. Only Gordon with more since 2012.
But it was just great concentration there by Yoenis Cespedes.
Sliced out of the reach of a diving Addison Russell.
He's done a lot of that this year.
Iglesias had 5 hits in the White Sox series. That's his first hit in this series. Leadoff man is on for the second straight inning.
Tigers have flashed some leather in this game, and the glove. Glove in the arm. Rajai Davis with a spectacular play in center field, and Cespedes with a very good throw.
Here is Davis. Rajai double and a strikeout.
I wouldn't expect Iglesias to stand pat over at first base. He will probably attempt to steal on the first couple of pitches. There are several things you can do as a pitcher if you don't feel all that comfortable throwing over to first base. You can simply vary your times and looks toward home by simply holding the baseball a little bit longer when you come to a set position in your stretch, and you try to disrupt the timing of the base runner.
One ball, one strike on Davis. It's got to be a huge disadvantage, though, for the catcher if the opposing runner knows he will not throw to first base.
Yeah, the track record pretty much says he won't. He's only thrown over twice this year. Did not throw over one time all of 2014.
There he goes. Here comes the throw down to second, bouncing in. Tag, got it. Pretty good pickup down there. And then Iglesias is out on the play.
Not a great jump by Iglesias. Ball picked off the ground by Ross, fired down to second, and a nice pick by Addison Russell, and who tags Iglesias on the left shoulder before the bad foot gets on the bag.
1 out, nobody on. Rajai looks at a ball inside. Now it goes 3-1. Drilled to center field. That is going to be trouble. This has extra bases written all over it. It's going to be a triple. Rajai on his way to third. He is flying in there with a stand-up 3-bagger.
That is Rajai Davis's 5th triple of the season. Dexter Fowler, the center fielder, had Rajai Davis shaded over in right center field. He took that cut fastball at 92, and he ripped it into left center field. And by the time that Dexter Fowler got over there to pick it up, Rajai Davis not only scooting around first, but rounding second and making the decision on his own to go for his 5th triple of the season.
And the 5 triples ties Paulo Orlando for the league lead.
He is awfully fun to watch run, Rajai Davis.
Now let's get him in. The infield coming in for the Cubs. Kinsler takes strike 1.
Well, it's going to have to be Kinsler or Cespedes because Miggy's probably swung the bat for the last time today.
He's got a couple of hits and an RBI.
I mean that.
I know you're not joking. So does Joe Madden. Gets down the right field line. That's going to be a fair ball and go to the corner. Kinsler to second. He'll take the turn, but hold up. He comes to a sliding stop. Double RBI. Tigers add another 4-0.
You have two different plays here. You had Rajai Davis hitting a triple. Rajai Davis made the decision by himself that he could get to third base. But when a ball's hit down the right field line, you pick up your third base coach. Ian Kinsler took a peek over the third base coach. He had both hands up, so he slides and gets back to second base.
First hit of the night for Kinsler's 24th RBI. Tigers now have a 4-0 lead. And here is Cabrera strolling in with his .560 average against Lester.
Looked like Joe Maddon's trying to get David Ross's attention and tell him, man, what are you talking about? Let's just put him on.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to mess around at all here with even throwing to him. With Jackson, the former Tiger, warming up.
Pitching out the bullpen these days.
Ball one to Cabrera. Joe Maddon has walked Miguel Cabrera 11 times intentionally.
Special treatment.
They played a pull on the infield.
Look how far the catcher is off home plate. They elect to do this versus having John Lester just lob 4 balls to the plate.
Boy, it's really astounding that, I mean, a big league pitcher just can't even lob 4 in there to put a guy on intentionally.
Right?
He's got to let it go. Ross way off the dish again. And that one is outside for ball 4. Well, Friday, June 12th, the Tigers take on the Indians. It'll be a 7:08 game. Fans are intended to stay after the game, or invited rather to stay after the game for a fireworks spectacular. Those are always good here at the ballpark. Call 866-66-TIGER for ticket information. Looks like we're going to get a visit to the mound now from Chris Bosio. And Lester now will get a talking to. Bosio, former big league pitcher. 4-0. Tigers have the lead, and the Tigers have 2 men on here. Only 1 out. It's going to be Yoenis Cespedes. Lester is about to throw his 90th pitch in about, well, less than half of those have come the last inning and the third, it seems. He's thrown 45 in the last inning and the third. And he misses outside, 1-0. So there is an even 90 now, 54 of which have been strikes.
Well, Lester came in struggling against the Tigers in the past, and he struggles once again here tonight.
Cespedes a single in 2 at-bats. Two and 0. Way outside, 3 balls, no strikes. He is 1 pitch away from walking him loaded.
Cespedes has the green light. If he wants to swing at the 3-0 pitch, he most definitely can.
against him, ball 4. Back-to-back walks. Quizzical look on Joe Madden's face. Here is J.D. Martinez. It's going to be it. So J.D. strolling in.
John Lester had a start here at Comerica Park last year where he lasted only 4 in the 3rd inning. And guess what? Just 4 in the 3rd again here tonight.
Madden brings the hook with him. Edwin Jackson coming in. So wall side windows pitching change. We'll be back. Tigers have knocked out John Lester. Edwin Jackson takes over.
Edwin Jackson pitching out the bullpen these days for the Chicago Cubs. His number's not bad. He comes in with a 2.87 earned run average, 15 2/3 innings. He's been in 14 games, 11 strikeouts, 7 base on balls for the former Tiger, Edwin Jackson.
Tigers in this game are 3 out of 6 with men in scoring position. Now a chance for J.D. Martinez to break this one wide open.
Yeah, the 1 year that Edwin spent in a Tigers uniform, it was a good one. He made the All-Star team that year. He's got a fastball that will get up in the mid-90s. He'll sink the fastball. He's got a changeup, a slider, and a curveball. He does not use the curveball that often.
Kinsler, Cabrera, Cespedes on the bases. 1 out. Here is Martinez. And Jackson starts him off, ball 1. In the last 2+ weeks, the bullpen for the Cubs has an ERA of 1.86, so they've been good lately. They'll have to be really good here. JD is 0 for 2. Ground out, fly out. Pulled on the ground into left, base hit. 1 run scores. Everybody moves up 90 feet. Kinsler is in, and the Tigers now lead 5-0.
Once Edwin Jackson missed with the first pitch slider, if you're J.D. Martinez, you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt you were going to get a fastball and it was going to be in the mid-90s, and he got out in front of it and hit it right past the shortstop.
Seven RBIs down for Martinez, and here is Nick Castellanos, singled in 2 in his last at bat.
All of a sudden, Tigers bats have perked up in the last 3 games. Those final 2 games against the White Sox, and tonight against the Cubbies, they have 10 hits.
He could not get anything going in the 8-game losing streak, but all it takes is 1 game to turn you around, and now the Tigers have put together 3 straight good ones. They remain loaded. Cabrera, Cespedes, Martinez.
And they are 4 of 7 with runners in scoring position so far tonight. Castellanos looking to extend that.
Nifty pickup there by Ross. Castellanos now with 26 RBIs. All of this in support of Anibal Sanchez, who has given up just 4 hits, no runs in this game. Golfed foul, back out of play. 1-2 on Castellanos. Nick has hit safely now in 5 of his last 7. Wally Joyner has to be thrilled about the recent uptick in his offense. Here's the 1-2. 2-2 the count. Edwin Jackson pitched for the Tigers just 1 season, 2009. 13-game winner that year.
And usually in this particular situation, Jackson will come with a slider. He has a lot of confidence in his slider. The batting average against his slider is about .203.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Castellanos. First strikeout for Jackson. 2 gone.
It's a 94-mile-per-hour 4-seam fastball down. May have been out of the strike zone, but Castellanos couldn't hold up on it.
So here's McCann. This is the 8th man to bat in the inning for the Tigers. McCann double and a strikeout. Bender from Jackson drops low. Five runs on 10 Tigers hits. They've scored 2 in each of the last 2 innings. One. McCann not convinced that was a strike. Mr. Foxtrack says yep, it was. Right in the corner. Line drive caught by the second baseman Russell to end the inning. Tigers add to their lead with 2 more. It's 5-0. 5 starts, Rod, the numbers just continue to elevate.
Yeah, they beat up on him pretty bad, and to the tune of a 636 earned run average in 28 and third innings. And 12 hits per 9 innings given up by John Lester here in this ballpark.
So Sanchez now has a few more runs to work with. It is 5-0 Detroit as we go to the 6th inning. Nice night for baseball here at the ballpark. And the Tigers breaking open a new home stand. Dexter Fowler leads it off, then Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant. Fowler is 0 for 2, ground out, strikeout. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Fowler came in with a 4-game hitting streak, was hitting .300 on their road trip, which is winding down here in Detroit after taking 3 out of 4 over the weekend in Washington.
And the Washington Nationals drew about 145,000 fans in that 4-game series against the Cubs over the weekend.
Fouled back out of play. Cubs always a nice draw, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
Home and road.
Just like the Tigers.
Fowler came in 3rd in the National League in runs scored, 40 of them this year, atop the Chicago offense. Here's the 1-2. And he got him, strike 3. Fowler caught looking.
Second time Anibal Sanchez has punched out Fowler here today. This is a breaking ball, and that Fowler just couldn't pull the trigger on.
5 strikeouts now for Anibal. The T-Mobile game changer is as follows. We'll talk about Rizzo and the club's highest on-base percentage for Chicago in the first 55 games of a season. Rizzo is on that list.
He's done major damage this year. He had a good year last year, but he's really come into his own this season. He's going to make the All-Star team for the first time. The Cubs have him locked up all the way into 2020, so they're very fond of Anthony Rizzo as well.
Sanchez got him twice tonight. Strikeout, ground out, pulled foul. The Tigers have him shifted that way toward right field.
He does not get cheated standing in that batter's box. He stands right on top of the plate, and he is very aggressive.
Rizzo leads the team in hits, RBIs, home runs. He's hit 11 over the boards this year. Here's the 2-1. Pulled on the ground at first, foul ball. Right into the glove of Cabrera, but just foul. Only 4 Cubs hits tonight against Sanchez. Rizzo came in batting over .400 this month. We'll pop that in the air to shallow left field. Cespedes will come in to make the play, and there are 2 gone now. And game break time for Mickey York. Thanks, Mick. We will keep our eyes on that game. The 2 teams ahead of the Tigers, KC and Minnesota, locked up atop the Central Division. Bryant batting. Single, ground out of this game. A 5-game hit streak now for Bryant. He was the National League's Rookie of the Month back in May. Knocked in 22 last month. Skies this one a mile high, center field. Rajai Davis waiting for it, and Sanchez has himself a 1-2-3 inning. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th. Introduced as the new Red Wings head coach here in Detroit.
I was born in Detroit. My dad was a Detroit cop for 10 years. I grew up in Sault Ste. Marie. I was a Red Wing fan, an avid Red Wing fan growing up. It's a great city that I believe in. It's a great organization, Original Six. But outside of the personal reasons, the more important reasons were the people that are involved in this organization. I mentioned the great ownership of the Ilitches. Ken Holland as a general manager in the great management team that he's put together. I talked about the scouting staffs. But probably most importantly is the players. You can only win at the highest level. You can only win championships with great character and great talent. You can't have one or the other. You have to have both.
Well, we welcome Jeff Blashill to town, of course, taking over as the Red Wings head coach, coming over from the Grand Rapids Griffins, and boy, is he well spoken.
It sounds like Jeff's got his dream job.
Yep, no doubt. A native Michigander, and he will take over for Mike Babcock, who has moved on to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So excited to see what Jeff will be able to do with next year's squad. Josh Wilson leading it off here in the 6th. 5-0 Tigers, and he loops one down the left field line. That's going to be a fair ball. Extra bases for Wilson. He's on his way to second, and he'll stop there. Lead off 2-base hit. Well, when you're named head coach of the Red Wings, you know what that comes along with. The opportunity to throw out the first pitch. Brought his 3 kids out. We'll see what kind of arm.
And you get to throw it to the skipper, and Brett Austin.
Nice.
That's the best they got. All right, let's hook up with some luck. Yeah. Dad, you're good.
Brett Austin being introduced to Jeff Blashill. So Wilson with his first double of the year. It's his first extra base hit in a Tigers uniform. Now here is Iglesias. Tigers have 11 hits in this game. And Iglesias looks at a strike.
Even though the Tigers have a 5-run lead, Iglesias still has a job to do. Hit something through the right side of the infield. At least get Wilson to third base. If you get yourself a base hit, you'll drive him in.
Oh, 2.
It's a 93-mile-per-hour fastball thrown by Jackson, and Ross wanted it inside, and you can see visibly with the swing Iglesias takes. He's trying to inside out this pitch and hit it to the right side of the diamond.
And again, he tries to go the other way, sprays it foul.
Iglesias has not struck out very much this season. Very tough to strike out. He puts the ball in play with regularity.
Single ground out in this game for Jose, one of the 11 Tigers hits.
Even in spring training, when Iglesias was struggling to get base hits, he wasn't striking out very much. 382 on base percentage, leads all shortstops.
Edwin Jackson came on in place of the starter John Lester in the 5th inning. Well, he's doing all he can, isn't he?
He sure is. Even though there's 2 strikes, still trying to do his job.
Tigers have 4 doubles in this game. They have a triple and 6 singles.
And Wally Joyner looking over the scouting report on Austin Jackson. Excuse me, Edwin Jackson. We used to have an Austin Jackson too.
He was involved in the deal that Jackson was involved in. And the count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Sure was.
That was at 3-way with the Diamondbacks. Curtis Granderson was involved.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, we got Jackson, Scherzer, Phil Koch. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss, and they finally get Iglesias. Second strikeout for Edwin Jackson. We're at Comerica Park tonight, starting a 2-game series here against the Chicago Cubs. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad you're with us. Mark Isofano is our producer. Brian Moss, our director tonight. On a gorgeous night here in the Motor City, temperature in the mid-70s. It appears, Rod, that summer is just about here.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, me too. We had a game in Chicago over the weekend that was, I think, 55 at game time. Chilly weather.
Yeah, the Tigers have played more games under 50 degrees this year than they have over. A lot more.
Ball one to Rajai Davis. Got himself a double and a triple tonight.
He's had a nice day, and he made a spectacular catch, taking a home run away from the Cubs catcher, David Ross.
1 ball, 1 strike. Leadoff double by Wilson, still at second now with 1 out. Here's the 1-1. We chased 1-2 on Rajai Davis. Tigers got 1 in the first. They added 2 in the fourth, 2 more in the fifth. And they've out hit the Cubs 11-4 tonight. Slowly left side of the infield, barehanding Bryant. Nice play to get him at first base. Tough play considering the speed of the runner.
They had Bryant playing some left field in spring training because they weren't quite sure where his best position would be, but he's played a nice third base since coming to the big leagues. I mean, he's standing 6'5", so he's bigger than most of your third basemen, but look at the athleticism. Ever so slightly after grabbing that ball in the palm of the hand, the legs are starting to shift, and he makes a very strong, firm throw across the diamond. Also a nice read by Josh Wilson, who was on second base, able to get to third base once Bryant came in the infield.
Let us see if Kinsler can get him in with 2-out hit. Ian doubled in a run back in the 5th inning. In there for strike 1. The RBI total now at 24 for Kinsler. Sprayed down the right field line, foul. No balls, 2 strikes.
Edwin Jackson still has a big arm. And that last fastball thrown to Ian at 96 miles an hour.
Jackson, 31 years old now, began his big league career with the Dodgers. Went to Tampa. That's when Detroit got him for Matt Joyce.
He's thrown a no-hitter in the big leagues.
The 0-2 is on the ground to the right side, and Russell, great play, but it's going to be too late. That's an RBI single for Kinsler.
Addison Russell is a shortstop by trade. As a matter of fact, he's probably the Cubs shortstop in waiting, which means he's got tremendous range at the second base position. He gets there, he dives, but once he gets to that one knee, Ian Kinsler way too fast for him to throw out.
Second RBI of the night for Kinsler, 6-0 Detroit. Here's Cabrera. Miggy drives one back out of play.
I'm not so certain that teams that apply this particular shift to Miguel Cabrera, they're not trying to get in his head, because Miggy's won 3 batting titles. He sprays the ball all around the diamond, so he's not a dead pull hitter, but yet they open up the entire right side for Miggy. I guess what they want him to do is take that single into right field versus trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Well, you've had managers tell you that, haven't you?
There has been a couple that have said that.
Going to drive that one foul. 0-2. I guess the thought is minimize the damage.
I guess if you can just get a guy thinking like, you know what, I'm going to hit this ball right where the second baseman should be, versus a guy like Miguel who has a gap power hitting the ball into the gaps, I guess you've won.
The 0-2. Missed it high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cabrera's been on base 3 times. 2 singles, an RBI, and a walk. Jackson took over for Lester in the 5th. Bouncing in, Ross able to block it. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Miguel. Cespedes waiting on deck. Tigers have gotten a lot of production from their top 4 hitters in this game. Pulled foul right by Dave Clark. 2-2. The count stays on Cabrera. Cabrera extending that streak to 27 consecutive games in which he has reached base. Bouncer back up the middle. Russell is there. He'll flip to the bag. Safe. Go to first. Boy, they almost got Cabrera. Everybody is safe, but it was close at first base. Good hustle by Kinsler.
Russell probably should have went to first base on this play. And because Castro was playing Miggy in the hole, and he had a difficult time of getting there with the hustle of Ian Kinsler.
Miggy pretty much stopped.
Yeah, it might be tough to give Miggy a base hit because of the fact that he slowed down like that.
So here is Cespedes. Single and a walk for Yoenis. Ugly swing there. They ruled it a base hit. That's how close the play was at second. Third hit of the game for Cabrera. Bouncing ball to short. Gobbled up there by Castro, and they'll get the force to end the inning. Tigers get another run. We go to the 7th. Rod back here at the ballpark, and well, this is more like it, Rod. We've got some pretty good pitching going on here from Anibal Sanchez, and the offense has awakened now.
Let's start with Anibal Sanchez. I mean, today he has been outstanding. He has not made many mistakes in the strike zone. Real good fastball, good breaking ball. He's kept the ball at the bottom of the strike zone.
Yeah, the top of the order doing the trick for the Tigers. They have done most of the damage here tonight. They've showed up.
Rajai Davis, I mean, he's just a leader by example. He has a double and a triple in the game. Ian Kinsler has also driven in a couple of runs. And you know what Miguel Cabrera does on a nightly basis. He has gotten loose once again this evening. He has 3 hits.
Total it all up, 6 runs on 13 Tigers hits in this game as Sanchez goes back to work. Strike is the call on Miguel Montero. Montero, then Denorfia and Castro. And the 0-2. Off the plate, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sanchez went right back out there but missed again.
He has that really good command this evening with that 4-seam fastball. That last one at 92 nearly caught the outside corner, and David Rackley nearly called the strike.
The left side of the infield, Wilson has it for 1 out.
Take a peek at our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. Anibal Sanchez has simply been on point here tonight. He's had outstanding command with the 4-seam fastball, working all 4 quadrants of the strike zone. He has thrown an outstanding change piece to the left-handers and an occasional breaking ball that he's buried at the bottom of the zone. So just an outstanding outing so far turned in by Anibal Sanchez, and now it's 3 in a row. And David Price. Simon also had a big start on Sunday, and today it's Sanchez's turn.
Bouncing ball left side. Wilson has that one as well. And there are 2 gone.
Is there any team in baseball that swings at more first pitches than the Chicago Cubs?
No. 2 quick outs here in the 7th. Well, Saturday Baseball Night in America returns to Fox with an AL East showdown. Yankees square off against the Orioles. Coverage begins at Saturday at 7. And that's only on Fox.
New York Yankees in first place in the American League East by a game and a half.
That American League East is a toss-up. Right?
Yeah, it's up for grabs right now. So is the Central.
Starlin Castro. Single, fly out. 1 for 2 for Castro. Just 4 Chicago hits in this contest. That's it. Line drive, make it 5 Chicago hits. 2-out single for Castro, who has his 2nd of the game. Here's Junior Lake.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch on Anibal Sanchez. He is topped out at 93 this evening. He's gone as low as 73. Several times at 73 reading with a really good curveball that he has had tonight.
Single fly out for Junior Lake. Foul tip into the glove, strike 1.
And Sanchez, as far as the pitch count is concerned, is in outstanding shape. He's only thrown 84 up until this point.
Off the end of the bat, foul, no balls, 2 strikes.
Anibal Sanchez is also 18 of 25 in first pitch strikes, which is always a very nice recipe for success when you have a young, aggressive swinging team like the Chicago Cubs.
And the 0-2. Up and in, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ross waiting on deck. Sanchez rarely has been tested tonight, and there's a swing and a miss. And that's going to take care of the 7th. Well, coming up, the McLaren Health Plan 7th inning stretch. At www.foxsportsdetroit.com, you'll be eligible to win a fantastic prize pack that any baseball fan would love. Well, we travel now to the bottom of the 7th inning, and it's going to be J.D. Martinez, the Nick Castellanos, James McCann. There's a check swing, and he went around. 0-1 the count. Tigers 6 runs, 13 hits, and for the Cubs, no runs, 5 hits. Every Tiger in the starting lineup has at least 1 hit. Spreading around the wealth. Edwin Jackson back out there, came on in relief in the 5th inning of John Lester, who was knocked out of this game. Now they go 2 to the right side. Russell, man, he's been all over the place tonight.
He's got some range.
1 out. Did you see who was throwing before the game tonight?
Yeah, Justin Verlander threw a bullpen here today.
Verlander is going to start on Saturday. That's the good news. Was throwing a bullpen here at Comerica Park.
They said that he looked very good in his last outing in Toledo. He had 9 strikeouts in that game. The fastball, he was right around 94 all night long. He had an outstanding curveball as well, we were told, in that outing in Toledo. When was that, on Friday?
I believe so. The only thing I can remember is that a dinosaur gave him the ball.
Yeah, I remember that. And Verlander did, as most veteran players do when they do go down to the minor league for a rehab start. They usually feed the boys, and I heard that Verlander took care of them pretty good.
I think there was some lobster involved.
Yeah, steaks, lobster.
1 ball, 1 strike on Castellanos.
Nice gesture by Justin.
It'll bounce in. 2-1.
He's only going to add to the rotation. He'll get the ball on Saturday, which really bolsters the staff. David Price, just about every time he goes out there, he gives the team a chance to win. Anibal Sanchez did a very nice job here tonight. Simon has been good basically all year.
High fly ball, center field, Dexter Fowler. 2 gone. Here was the dinosaur I was talking about. Verlander gives him a pat on the nose. And then he went out and struck out 9. And JV gave up the baseball, but it was all systems go after that.
13,000 fans showed up to watch that start by Justin on Saturday.
This is the first stint that he's had on the disabled list, the triceps problem. So he'll be taking on the Indians. Here's McCann. I'm sure the Indians are glad to hear that Verlander's back. And they'll be the first team that he'll face. McCann doubled in 3 at-bats. Here's the 1-0. JV. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Bender in for a strike. One and 2 on McCann. Swing and a miss. Jackson strikes him out. 1, 2, 3, 7th inning. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. One for the first time as the greatest golfers in the world converge on the Pacific Northwest for a chance to stamp their names in the history books. Our exclusive coverage of the 115th U.S. Open Championship live from Chambers Bay Golf Course begins June 18th on Fox Sports 1, Fox, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Well, Sanchez, meanwhile, he's been awfully good here tonight. 7 innings, no runs, and 6 strikeouts. Facing the bottom of the lineup here for the Cubs, it'll be Ross, Russell, and then Fowler. 6 runs, 13 hits for the Tigers. No runs, 5 hits for the Cubs. And the first one is outside to David Ross. 8th inning is underway tonight. Game 1 in the series. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Ross looks at a strike on the outer edge. Sanchez scattering 5 hits in this ball game tonight. Two and 1. All 5 hits singles.
Anibal Sanchez not afraid to throw his fastball here in the 2-1 count to Ross. He's been able to command the fastball and wherever he's wanted to today.
It's in the air to shallow center. Kinsler back. Davis in. Rajay calling and catching. One gone.
And here's that four-seam fastball. David Ross knew he was going to get it from Anibal, but he wasn't able to get to it. And real good location on the inner third. Ties Ross up, and he basically jams himself. And that is the four-seam fastball. You can see it coming across the seams.
Here's Addison Russell to right field, slicing. That ball gets down foul. Russell tonight is 1 for 2 with a single.
They swing a lot. They swing early and often, but they've got a pretty nice batting average when they do so. 422 when they swing at the first pitch of any at bat. I guess that's why they do it so often.
Another foul back out of play. Russell at 245. He's hit 4 home runs this year. Ball high from Sanchez, 1-2.
Kyle Ryan has started this last 4 games of really good starting pitching turned in by the Tigers. He pitched 7 on Friday. Price went the distance. Simon pitched 8. And it looks like Sanchez is going to get through 8 here tonight.
At this rate, should be no problem. Swing and a miss. Sanchez another strikeout.
Man, is he fearless with that changeup.
7 strikeouts tonight for Anibal Sanchez. That'll bring up Dexter Fowler. Fowler is 0 for 3. He has punched out his last 2 times up. There's a soft liner to right, base hit. 2-out single for Fowler.
He gave Fowler the same pitch on back-to-back pitches, the curveball. He hung the second one.
Rizzo is 0 for 3. The average now sits at 327.
Fowler can run, but they're trailing by 5, and Rizzo is a dead pull hitter. And you may as well pull Miggy off the bag and put him about a couple of steps behind Fowler. If he steals second, so be it. But at least Miggy has a better opportunity of fielding a ground ball should Rizzo turn on one.
Rizzo may have his last chance here in this at bat to extend his hitting streak.
What's he sitting at?
Sitting at 12 right now. But he's 0 for 3. Got himself a 2-0 count. Snap throw back down to first base. And he got back in. That's an even 100 now for Sanchez.
Nothing stressful about his pitch count by inning tonight.
Meanwhile, 3-0 on Rizzo. And he'll take his walk. He'll put 2 men on with 2 out. Here comes Jeff Jones. G. Lamont getting on the telephone as well. Hey, don't forget you can follow the Tigers all season in 2015 with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat on your smartphone or your tablet. See, the Tigers have some activity now. Java Chamberlain warming up. So here is Chris Bryant with 2 on and 2 outs. And Bryant takes ball 1. Sanchez got the first 2 men, Ross and Russell, but now a single and a walk. And that's pulled foul down the left field line. That walk that he gave up to Rizzo was his first of the game. Bryant this year has been pretty good in these situations. 11 2-out RBIs. He's trying to get Chicago on the board. Fowler and Rizzo, the base runners. Inside, 2-1. Montero on deck. Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Chris Bryant. Now Sanchez ready. The 2-2 coming home. Low, and it'll get away from McCann to the backstop. That'll advance the 2 runners. Wild pitch.
Anibal overthrew this changeup, and it bounced in front of the plate, and Brian McCann couldn't help him out. James McCann couldn't help him out.
And Brian couldn't either. 3-2. Fouled away. Bryant did not start the season in the big leagues, even though he had a terrific spring training. There was a lot made of that, but it wasn't long until he finally got the call to the major leagues, April 17.
He is the absolute truth. He was rated as the best prospect in all of baseball coming into 2015.
Up and in, that's a walk, and that's going to load the bases now.
Well, Brad might just have to go get Sanchez. He has pitched way too well here tonight to allow this one to get away from him.
Back-to-back walks after the single by Fowler with 2 outs. That loads the bases.
Brad trying to buy a little bit more time. He wants to send McCann out, and I guess Java's ready.
That's going to be it for Sanchez. He will depart after loading the bases with 2 away. But Anaheim is going to get himself a nice round of applause here. He's done terrific work tonight. It's a wall side windows pitching change. The crowd comes to its feet, and we'll be back.
beautifully tonight here by James McCann, the rookie catcher. They weren't in sync 5 days ago against Oakland when Sanchez gave up 4 runs, but they were on the same page here tonight. It seemed like every single finger that McCann put down, Sanchez simply threw that pitch and pitched a very good game. And now it's up to Jabba Chamberlain to strand those 3 runners out there that Sanchez has left him.
So Chamberlain, and his numbers look like this, his 22nd appearance this year.
And Jabba has a fastball that reaches 95. Every now and then he'll get up to 96. He throws a lot of sliders, and he also throws quite a few curveballs. The batting average on both of those pitches right around 230 against Chamberlain.
Well, they've got their cleanup man up there now, Miguel Montero. He will bat with the bases full, 2 outs. 6-0 Detroit.
And you know he'll pretty much be swinging at the first pitch if he does get a fastball from Jabba.
You're looking at ball high. Fastball, but it was out of the strike zone, 1-0. They got him played to pull. That is Fowler, Rizzo, and Bryant on the bases. That is in there, a strike. 2 for 3 for Montero in his career against Jabba, both singles.
And it looks like to me that Montero might be sitting on one of the off-speed pitches that Jabba throws. He took that fastball at 95, basically right down the middle.
2-1. Lane Hardy, you saw him warming up in the Tigers bullpen. It looked like Sanchez would easily get 8 full in this game, but a 2-out rally here for the Cubs. Strike call to the outside corner. 2-2 on Montero, who's been beefing all night long with David Rackley. Where was it? Just on the outside corner, barely. Ooh, we went back out there again, and Montero took it again, but this time it missed. Just a little bit farther than the last one. Sanchez wanted the call, didn't get it. These are his runs on the bases right now. 3-2 the count. And the runners will start. Swing and a miss. He struck it out. Jabba Chamberlain strikes out Miguel Montero, and they will leave the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the 8th.
money encounter the last 4 games. Tiger starters have done a very nice job, led by Kyle Ryan, David Price, Simon, and Sanchez here this evening.
So the Tigers up 6-0. It'll be Josh Wilson starting things off, then Jose Iglesias and Rajai Davis. 6 runs, 13 Tigers hits, no runs, 6 hits for visiting Cubs. It's pounded back out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Alex Wilson is warming up in the Detroit bullpen. Edwin Jackson came into this ball game in the 5th. He is still out there as we play here in the 8th. Now the 1-2. Swing and a miss, dusted him. 1 away here in the 8th inning. Well, what's coming up tomorrow? The Cubs are still in town here. The upcoming matchup presented by Gordon Chevrolet, and Tigers facing another good pitcher.
Yeah, not going to be easy. Arrieta having a really nice year. Checks in with 5 wins, 4 losses. A respectable ERA, just a shade over 3, but he's punching out a lot of batters. He has 75 of those. And meanwhile, Shane Green is trying to get back on track.
So with 1 out, here is Iglesias. Iggy looks at a strike. Single and 3 at bats for Jose. Make it 0-2. Tigers familiar with tomorrow's starter Arrieta, but he really put it together last year with the Cubs. Was 10-5 last season. Slapped in the air to right center. Dexter Fowler coming over. 2 gone here in the Tigers 8th. Now Rajai Davis. Well, Rob, 3 more outs and the Tigers will have won their 3rd consecutive game, which is making folks feel a whole lot better than that 8-game losing streak.
Yeah, that 8-game losing streak, the Tigers had lost 8 straight. You have to go all the way back to 2005, and the offense is way too potent for the way that it was swinging the bat, and quite frankly, the starting pitching was not pitching well either, so they kind of hit that skid, and nothing was going right for them.
Rajai's had a nice night, double, triple, 2 runs scored, and a great leaping catch out and left. One ball, 1 strike.
That catch really set the tone for the entire game. It allowed Sanchez to really settle in.
Agreed, because it would have given the Cubs a lead. Swing and a miss.
And it would have been another homer surrendered by Sanchez.
One and 2 on Davis.
If you missed it back in the 2nd, Rajai Davis leaping very high over the wall to pull back. And the home run ball hit by David Ross.
Two and 2 on Davis. And he got him strike 3. Caught him looking. So Jackson retires the final 7 that he faces. They go to the 9th. Leading, that's good enough. As you look at our Comerica Bank game summary, only 6 hits tonight for the Cubs. Tigers 1 through 3 hitters are 7 for 11 in this game, and Sanchez has done the rest. And now as we go to the 9th inning, it's going to be a new pitcher. It'll be Alex Wilson to try and get the final 3 outs.
Alex Wilson has been outstanding in the 16 games he has pitched in the big leagues this year, logging 28 innings, a lot of those innings in long relief. But lately he's been getting the ball late for Brad Ausmus. Overall, his earned run average is 193.
And the first one is up and in to Chris Denorfia, who leads it off. Then Castro and Lake. Swing and a miss. Soft line drive over the head of Ian Kinsler.
Here is our 1-800-CALL-SAM of the game, and it happened back in the 4th inning. Yoenis Cespedes with really good base running, ball deep in the right field. He gets back to tag because he knows Lake is going to catch it. He also knows he has to get on his horse because Lake has a good arm. He makes it there safely, takes the double play out of order, and then it's Castellanos with the big base hit scoring Yoenis Cespedes.
Here's Starlin Castro. That's in for strike 1. Fastball from Wilson. Arrieta and Green tomorrow night to close out this short 2-game series. Tigers will be playing in Chicago later this summer against the Cubs, a 2-game set. That'll be August 19th, or make it 18th and 19th. 0-2 on Castro. Tried to get out of the way basically and fouled it back. 0-2 the count stays on Starlin Castro.
And Wilson has a fastball that will top out at about 94 miles an hour. His average heater about 92. He also throws quite a few sliders and cut fastballs.
Coghlan has moved to the on deck circle. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Nice block here by James. Keeping the glove between the legs to make sure the ball doesn't scoot through the legs.
And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Castro out of there.
It's a real nice cutter here thrown by Wilson at 87 miles an hour.
Chris Coghlan now will pinch hit. .225 this year. He has 7 home runs. One on, one out. This is the 2nd season with the Cubs for Coghlan. Hit .283 last year. Came up in the Marlins system. Now the 0-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Coghlan. Coghlan has appeared in all of their games this year. He's made 43 starts out in left field. And Wilson just missed outside. Baxter now has moved to the on-deck circle. The 2-2 is bounced back up the middle into center field. That's going to be a pinch hit single. So Coghlan is aboard. That'll put 2 men on now. That'll bring up Baxter. Mike Baxter 2 for 12 this season. Baxter recalled from AAA Iowa on Wednesday. That's when Soler was put on the disabled list. So we don't get to see Soler in this series. Injured recently and then was put on the disabled list. Yet another good young player.
For sure.
That these Cubs have. Wilson ready with the 0-1. Couldn't hold up. No balls, 2 strikes.
I was walking in the Cubs clubhouse today. I went down to catch up with Madden, but he was off doing an interview somewhere, and Soler walked through the clubhouse. He had a boot on. I believe it was his right foot, but man, is he big. He's 6'3". They list him at 215, but he looks every bit of 6'3", 230.
It's chopped foul.
But 230 in a good way.
Oh, 0-2 on Mike Baxter. Oh, Wilson just missed there.
Good firm swing back fastball at 94, but he couldn't get the call.
And just a little bit off the plate. Baxter last year time with the Dodgers. He's also been with the Mets. And San Diego as well. Now the 1-2. That's in the air. Shallow left field. Iglesias going back and calling for it. However, Cespedes says, I'll take it. 2 gone. And now the Cubs down to their final swings here. Addison Russell steps in with 2 away. Russell tonight a single and 3 at-bats. Ball 1 missing outside to Russell. Way outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Really haven't been too many opportunities tonight for the Cubs. They did load the bases in the 8th, which finally forced Sanchez out of the game, but Jabba Chamberlain came out of the pen to strike out Montero. But aside from that, really, Joe Maddon's bunch, not a whole lot going on offensively. Which speaks to how dominant Sanchez was tonight. 2-0 is a soft ground ball to short. Should do it. Iglesias on the charge. His throw is in time. And the Tigers win game 1 in this series with the Cubs. Nice victory for the ball club tonight. They've won 3 straight games now. And they do so with plenty of offense tonight and some outstanding pitching from Aníbal Sanchez. There's your final 6-0. We'll be back.
Oh,